to start today by appreciating Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Republic, for the exceptional honor and privilege that he has given to me by appointing me as a special advisor on media and public engagement State House.
Welcome back to Chokitable Media. I want to put Mr. Daniel Bwala on the spot in this video of mine. And I want you to listen to him. The diary of Daniel Bwala is what I call this. You will see how Daniel Bwala metamorphosized into becoming the media assistant to Mr. Bola Tinubu. Mr. Daniel Bwala, a lawyer from Maiduguri, Borno State, the same village with the current governor, has finally been appointed by Bola Tinubu to become the spokesperson for him, a media chief in the camp of the federal government of Bola Tinubu. If you look back at the antecedent of Bwala, you will understand its principle that amounts to nothing in the ears of every reasonable person or any reasonable person in the world. Mr. Bwala breathes propaganda. Mr. Bwala eats propaganda. Mr. Bwala sleeps on propaganda. Everything about propaganda is Bwala. I think it's better not to use the word propaganda anymore. It's better to use the word Bwala, Daniel, anytime you need to use the word propaganda. This man I'm talking about, the current spokesperson for the administration of Bola Tinubu, used to criticize Tinubu heavily. Some of the video you will see here, he called him names, unprintable names, accused him of so many crime, accusing him that he committed I don't want to say this because he said it himself, and you will listen to it in this video. While he was agitating, looking for a job, this same Mr. Bwala used to be in the party called PDP, where Atiku Abubakar happens to be their presidential candidate in the last election. At the same time, he was once in APC. This man used to jump from one party to the other. This young man used to jump from one party to the other, always looking for where his bread will be buttered, always looking for where, he will have a good position or a good lifestyle, whereby he will be, talking for them and, throwing out propaganda, lying to Nigeria, because there's nothing you call propaganda if it is not lying. But I don't want to take much of our time talking about Daniel Bwala. I want you to listen to him at various stages where he was talking to the press, most especially Shehu Kimbaloye of Channels Television in Nigeria. Just listen to him and draw your conclusion. And at the end of this video, I'll be able to give you my own personal opinion about Daniel Bwala. If you are the kind of person that wants to be like Daniel Bwala, it is your problem. It is not my problem anyway. Just know that it is your integrity that you are soaking in water. Just know that there's going to be a day whereby you will stand in front of your Lord, and when you be called a big liar, whereby you will not even, your life will not even amount to nothing. Either you are alive or you are dead. The result is coming for every one of them in this type of character. Ask him, they're saying, okay, what do you actually stand for? What do you think this man stands for? And if you want to be like him as well, what is going to be the future that you're going to put together for yourself? What is going to be for you? And think about the people you'll be lying for. If you want to get the training from Bwala, it's up to you. But honesty Honesty is the best. Let's listen to the videos.
And so, as the official spokesman of the president, I want to assure you all of my unalloyed commitment and support and collaboration. What happens is you have two responsibilities between the government and the people, and you hold the government accountable on behalf of the people. What you demand from government is accountability. What the government expects from you is fair reporting and fair play. And I want to give you my own commitment. I have joined pool of very wonderful, resourceful media aid of the president, and we work as a team. But I want to guarantee you that if you have any issue that you want to find out, verify, or communicate to the government, I will always be available, to discuss with you. So my appreciation is to the president as a man of courage who has considered me worthy to appoint me as his spokesman, special advisor on media and public communication, and will ensure that in communicating on behalf of the president to the Nigerian people, we do our best in the discharge of our function. We are going to be honest with you. Government is not perfect. Government is a work in progress. What government does consistently is to communicate to the people not just the intention of government, but the effort of government in delivering on the promise to the Nigerian people. So you're going to find in the course of our work, there are times government will come up to you to say, this and this are the efforts we've made in this regard. If it is not perfect, we're improving upon it. The posture of Mr. President from when he took the oath of office to the Nigerian people is that I have undertaken this task. I know the onerous responsibility. I'm committed to it. The box is on my table. All I require from the Nigerian people is patience. This reform we have embarked upon is tough, but it's what we are prepared for. And we are going to put in our best. In the course of the administration, we are going to make sure that we communicate to the Nigerian people what we are doing. And I can readily tell you that the administration has achieved tremendously. If you are looking at it from the point of view of somebody who is neutral, because the nation consists of government, the opposition, and the people. Sometimes in the messaging, focus is made most of the times on the opposition instead of the people. That's why the role of the media, as you all know, is very important, because what you do is you report what is happening and the Nigerian people can judge. The president has, all of us as servants and aides to the president. Section 5 of the Constitution vests the executive powers of the Federation in the president. And he carries out this duty, if you look at Section 5, either by himself, through the vice president, or the ministers of the government or the Federation or agencies. So the president is the team leader. Every other person functions as the president wishes. And the position I have been appointed into, the last person who occupied the position was a spokesman. If you look at the description of my responsibility, special advisor to the president on media and public communication state house. So that is self-explanatory. And regarding the second question that you raised, ordinarily I would not have responded to his issue, because when I was referred to what he said, I immediately contacted the vice president, and we'll all crack jokes about that. I have a very fantastic relationship with the vice president, which even started before the judgment of the court was delivered regarding the matter. The relationship started, or rather became stronger, in the build-up to the emergence of leadership of the National Assembly. And since then, we've been having very good relationship. But I know that the senator in question is having some troubled times. All I can say is that we need to pray for him, for God to guide and help him. But we are focused on the work of the president. It's not about Bwala, it's about the president.
And now this video.
Why I say I'm surprised is because during this period, there have been reports that, for example, even the president advised that this ticket be balanced. And there are key members of the party who have maintained the same position. And thankfully, majority of our Muslim brothers, so sensing that, and maintain the same position. So we believe that during this consultation period, that probably Asiwaju is coming to terms with the reality of balancing the ticket. So the decision yesterday came to me as a surprise. And the reason I resigned is simply because if I stayed in the party, I'm going to play a role of a spokesperson. These are facts that are important to me, and they run to the core of my conviction. Since I don't believe in that, if I take up any role for the party, that means I will find myself advocating what I don't believe in.
Well, I think a lot of people will be very respectful of what you've done because you've done it on principle. But are you a lone wolf in the strength of your opposition to this APC Muslim ticket? Because we're not seeing even so much of a trickle of people resigning as you did.
And now this video.
If you have the time, I will tell you more about what they are campaigning with as an agenda or as a rhetoric that he did well in Lagos. I will tell you, between 1999 to 2007, if you take out context, he actually performed worse than some governors in Nigeria, because the Lagos that they say he improved the revenue, he only collected tax. All the infrastructure needed for a state or in fact a country to develop was on ground. Lagos used to be the Nigerian national capital. Before Nigeria was formed, Lagos was a colony. You have all the infrastructure for economic development. As what you didn't establish them. There was seaport, there was airport, you have commercial activity, all the embassies are there. So transaction with foreign envoys is in Lagos. All the hotels are there, headquartered in Lagos. All the banks are headquartered in Lagos. All security apparatus, every facility and infrastructure for economic development was in Lagos. He didn't bring them. Asiwaju did not invite or introduce or brought to Lagos any serious foreign investor or domestic investor. And these revenues we are talking about that they claim he has generated, we are on. It's just that the government didn't have the infrastructure in collecting those. So what he did throughout this period was to collect tax. That's what they claim by revenue. And even then, the reason he did that was because the company that was collecting the tax, the company is allegedly traceable to him. So if you pick a man on the street and you tell him, I want you to collect tax in a given area, your percentage is 30%, he will be optimal. He will be highly effective. This is the summary. But let me tell you what he did in Lagos. One, he attempted to destroy democracy. He wanted to introduce what we call monarchical democracy. A democracy that is not reflected by the will and wishes of the people, but reflected by the choice of a man, and people should run around it. He introduced the concept in politics in Nigeria that we call take the queue, follow the queue. He was the only governor in Nigeria that during the period of 7 years, he has had to impeach his deputy governors 3 times and change them.
And now this video.
Let me clarify some point. You see, when people talk about be patient and wait, you have to look at the time frame within which the public officer himself is expected to execute his work. The president has just been voted into a term of 4 years. He's 8 months into the term, which constitutes 31.8% of the total time that he has. He has less than 70% of the time in government. When is that going to happen? 2, when President Buhari took over in 2015, it was the same language. Nigerians patiently followed. Today, tomorrow, they finish the first term, they enter the second term. When there is a fundamental problem with policy, time is irrelevant. 30 years, it cannot work. From decadence.
So the question I'm asking now is whether or not you believe in the presidency of today, because I mean and that's why I started my conversation with you asking that you are a Christian minority from Borno State.
Yes, sir.
And you once said the reason why you stopped believing or supporting Bola Tinubu is because of the Muslim ticket.
Yeah.
And as your philosophy about the Muslim ticket, because nothing seems to have changed. Has it changed now?
Are you having what we call father time? You have asked me this question before. We trashed it here.
No, we need to trash it because you have now taken up the responsibility to officially speak for the president.
So for your training.
And for the, yeah. I mean, I can speak for what my training and for what my industry deserve and the Nigerian people deserve. It would be at the service to the average Nigerian person if you are not able to clear when you are in now your official capacity. At Daniel Bwala, we had a conversation about your ideology and philosophy to wanted to support Bola Tinubu now. But now that you are taking an official responsibility, you have to also clear the air and lift off the burden that you have placed upon yourself.
What kind of,
and now the question, I mean, you have said that the reason why you stopped supporting President Tinubu is because of the Muslim ticket.
And when I made a decision to support him and you asked me the question, which I have cleared.
So now so you can now work with a Muslim man that took a Muslim
When
ticket.
I made a decision to support him, which I have been supporting him from January till this time, what was I doing? The only difference between then and now is the official tag.
You can be supporting someone, but working with them is another kettle of fish.
I have never believed that if you have the capacity to support someone, you will not see the need to.
You told me on our last interview at that time that you have a love and affection for Bola Tinubu as a person, but you disbelieve in the stand of the APC of a Muslim ticket. So the question is that it's still the Muslim ticket. Your man from Kashim Shettima, who is the VP, is from Borno State. President Bola Tinubu is a Muslim, and they've not denounced their religion. Have you denounced yours?
You know why I'm smiling? This is what I do for a living as a lawyer, where we cross-examine people. You change style, but you ask the same question which you have asked me in January and I've answered. So my reply to this will be asked and answered.
No, it has not been answered as of this moment.
Then recall it on your TV whether I have answered or not.
No, the question is that we are in the moment. Your status at the time and now are totally different.
So my response
do you still believe that a man, a vice president, and a president who are both Muslim of the same religion have the moral standing to run a country? I
adopt what I said before as my argument and I rely on it.
Are you running away or dodging away from answering the question?
No, you see, you have the infrastructure, you have TV, you have the same way you use that time in recalling past. Recall that question you asked and how I answered it. I'm not prepared to give energy to those things that would distract us from what the president has asked us to do. Let me tell you, it's not about Bwala, it's not about people. The minute I start answering questions that were asked and answered, and then it creates chains of questions, then I defeat the very purpose of my appointment. I am now talking about myself instead of talking about the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
That is if those questions are being reinforced over and over again. But this is our first conversation since you assumed office.
Yes.
And which is today.
Yes.
And I'm asking, because you are in your official capacity,
yeah,
can Nigerians believe you that this Daniel Bwala and what he said some months ago during the campaign, can they believe you when you speak for the president?
If you ask this question 100 times till tomorrow morning, my answer will be the same.
But what about those who think that you don't have integrity?
It is their right.
But do you have integrity?
It is up to you.
No, it's not up to me. You are the one that you are in the chair, Mr. Bwala. Do you have the integrity to speak for a president whom you heavily criticize and that is not fit for office based on his religious standing on a Muslim ticket?
Asked and answered.
You have not answered it.
No, I've answered it. You've asked me before.
You know, the reason why that is different is now you are a Nigerian public officer.
It doesn't change.
And you speak to the Nigerian people
yes,
right now. It's different from you as a private citizen. You have the onus to be able to speak. The onus on you to be able to tell Nigerians truthfully that this is what has changed about you. Is this the same Daniel Bwala that worked with Atiku Abubakar?
If I took mango before I became a spokesman, the nutritional value I get from the mango does not change because now I'm a spokesman. Asked and answered.
So you don't want to talk about that?
Anything that I have answered before, I don't want to regurgitate on that.
Even when you said that even if you give Bola Tinubu 30 years, nothing will change.
Asked and answered.
You're dodging away from the question.
I'm not dodging away. You've asked before, I have answered.
Are you worried about those who think that it is unfair for someone like you who heavily criticize and they fought you on television and radio, like Jesu Tega on Okwaza? And I could play to you some tapes of what you said during the campaign.
So you have those tapes, but you don't have the tape of the previous question you asked me, which I've answered.
Why would I play a tape of you when you are right here and you can answer the same question?
But why are you going to play this one that I said before?
Because you are now the special advisor.
What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
No, I'm a professional in this job.
I'm a professional in responding.
You are a lawyer.
And that makes it even stronger.
So the question here is that, Mr. Daniel Bwala, are you able to speak to the fact that there are some those who have a very difficult time believing and agreeing that you've gotten that job instead of them, and they were the supporters that saw Bola Tinubu win that election. What would you say to them tonight?
That's an opinion. They express their opinion. I can understand their feelings. I can understand their pain. However, the president of the Federal Republic decide who he wants to work with. But more than that, if you trust the judgment of the president to govern Nigeria, if you're progressive, you trust that this president is exercising good judgment in policy decisions, is exercising good judgment in governing, you should respect his judgment in choosing who he works with. I'm talking about if you're progressive. You may have a genuine reason why you think you are not taken. I am not going to sit here to say somebody doesn't have a reason why he has not been taken. But Bwala is not the reason why you are not taken. There is this thing we call transferred aggression. Do you know that not long ago, the wife of late Odumegwu Ojukwu was appointed? Was she in APC? Certainly no. You remember when Bosun Tujani was appointed? Was he in APC? No. So you see, the president, in my view, because what I did was I knew what the president's philosophy was. That's my understanding from my discipline of training, where they said if you are appearing in a court, study the demeanor of the judge, study the mind of the judge, and prepare your case on the basis of that. From President Bola Tinubu, even when he was a governor, he was operating on the philosophy outlined in that book on Abraham Lincoln. If you read that book, for those of the people who have not read, I will encourage them to read. When Abraham Lincoln won the presidency, he ceased to look at the political party from where he's coming from because it is the American society. But he was also faced with so many problems. I said it the last time I was here. There was the, the economic sabotage, the printing and the minting of the American money illegally. There was slave trade. There was fighting over supremacy. Federal government was not able to galvanize them. And so when he looked at it, and all of them had their respective leaders and sentiment, he felt and he came up with this philosophy: you can only fight one war at a time. You can't fight all. So what he did was, let me galvanize everybody together, national consensus, and let's hit the ground running. Now, I am not the only subject of the decision of the president that touched on people probably outside APC and the rest. Remember, Mr. Shewun, you have practically interviewed me for 8 years before the election, consistently defending APC as an APC member. My credential is in your hand. You will call me when I'm driving, I will pull over. I'm doing sports, I will stop over. That is how I defended. So I'm not like a newcomer. I've only been away for like 7 months. But everything is Bwala. They have their reasons. Some of them are sponsored. We know those who are sponsoring those things. But like I told you, I have made up my mind. I have refused to put fuel on a distraction, because you can imagine me talking about things that have nothing to do with the policy of the president now as his media aide. That means I am now discussing myself rather than discussing the president. So I leave them to their opinion. They can feed on it. They can build a house on it. But
this is Chokitable Media.
I am committed to focusing on...
Don't forget to like, share, and put on your notification button. God bless you as you do. Please, ìwà rere lẹ̀ṣọ́ ènìyàn. Òdodo ló dẹ̀ máa lékè. The truth will always prevail. There's nothing called diplomatic lie. There's nothing called politically correctedness when your people are suffering. Bye for now.